Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kakuyo, regular contributor for Buddhistdoor Global, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of The Ordinary Buddhist. The title of today's talk is Finding Gratitude in the Midst of Loss. But before we get into that, I'll remind you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. Also, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great too. So one hobby that I've picked up over the summer is I enjoy riding my bike to a lake near my home and watching the sunset on the water. And it's a bit funny because when I first started doing this at the beginning of the summer, I was usually the only person there. It was kind of my secret spot, if you will. But as what often happens, I think word started to get out, and each time I go there in the evening, more and more people are there in their cars with their children, and well, my secret spot isn't so secret anymore. And this is fine. Sunsets, like everything in life, they're more beautiful when they're shared. So the experience has changed, but I've learned to enjoy it in the midst of that change. But I had an interesting experience recently that I'd like to share. I was riding my bike around, exploring the city, and decided I'd finish the day at the lake. So I pulled up, and the sun started to set, and there were other people around milling about. And slowly but surely, the sun sank beneath the water, and day turned to night. And it was very beautiful, very lovely, just as it always is. But I noticed that even though I had enjoyed watching the sunset, I was a bit sad because the day was over. My adventure had ended, and I had to go back home and be an adult. Wash dishes, feed the animals, etc. And as I sat there and just explored this feeling of sadness, what I realized was that if the day had not turned to night, I could not have had the sunset. So there was a beauty there in the transition between day and night in this sunset that I could hold on to. I found myself being very grateful, even though the day had ended, that I'd had that experience at all. So even there in the midst of loss, there was beauty. I just had to remind myself it was there. And this is an important lesson, an important experience that we've all had in our lives. Maybe it was a fun day on our bike. Maybe it was a relationship or a job we cared about. Maybe it was a favorite book. Everything that we love eventually ends. Eventually we have to go home. However, in that transition between the having and the not having, there is beauty. There is a sunset that we can appreciate if we take the time to focus not on the loss, but on the having. We got to have that day of riding our bike. We got to have that relationship, that job, that fun experience. And even though it's gone now, the loss just makes it all the sweeter. More than that, everything in life cycles. Day turns to night, night turns to day again. We lose a job, we find a new one. Our relationship ends, another one begins. And as we learn to appreciate and enjoy this cycle, not to say it doesn't hurt sometimes, not to say we don't occasionally get sad, but we can appreciate the transition of life. And we can appreciate the sunset in between. And even in the midst of our loss and sadness, we can express gratitude for the beauty we've enjoyed. Amitabha.